Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me for another episode today. Going to get into a trio of pretty significant rookie cards that I've picked up recently, all in graded form, all from PSA specifically. And I think each of these three cards is sort of proof positive that you don't need to spend a lot of money to enjoy collecting even graded sports cards. And so these are going to be three hockey greats. They're more on the defensive side of the puck. I tend to gravitate, and I think a lot of collectors do, towards offensive greats, like Wayne Gretzky, Connor McDavid, Alex Ovechkin, those types of players. But I want my hockey collection to be a well-rounded collection that kind of celebrates all aspects of the game, including defensive aspects of the game. And so the first card that I have to show off, we'll just get right down to it, in today's trio is this beautiful 1989 Topps Brian Leetch rookie card in a PSA Fine 9. This is the set that got me into collecting as a kid in the winter of 1989. I've owned copies of this card since the winter of 1989 and still have my original even, but it took me all the way until now to get a graded version, and was able to pick this up for under $25. That was the case for all three cards in today's episode, which at the time of purchase was like basically picked up for around what PSA was charging for a bulk submission of a single card, which was like $22 at the time. And Leetch is a great one. Born in the state of Texas, he is probably the greatest, or arguably the greatest American-born defenseman of all time, and is generally viewed as one of the best defensemen of all time, period. He won the Rookie of the Year when he exploded on the scene the year this card came out. Was a two-time Norris Trophy winner as best defenseman in the league. Won a Conn Smythe Trophy, which is for the MVP of the playoffs and typically of the Stanley Cup final. And did win a Stanley Cup on that Rangers team in 1994 alongside Mark Messier and others. Was also one of only 5 defensemen ever to record 100 points in a season. So pretty impressive. Here's a look at the back. And yeah, his first card, pretty key 80s hockey card. And again, to get, a slabbed Hall of Fame rookie that I need for my hockey collection for less than $25, I was just ecstatic to add that one. Probably the guy that I would put alongside him if I was forming a pair of defensemen, with rookie cards from this era, as far as the all-time greats, Nicklas Lidstrom. And this card I don't think is officially his rookie card because he had a Canada Cup card with Team Sweden that came earlier in the same set. But I always preferred this one, and this is the one that I picked up slabbed. This is his Young Guns rookie card from the 1991 Upper Deck set, rookie card in quotes, rookie year card anyway. This is from the time where Upper Deck was still making Young Guns, of course, as you can see, and they were part of the base set, just as they are now. This is card 587. But back in 1991, these were just a regular issue base card. They were not short printed like the modern Young Guns. So this is not a scarce card at all. It's not a super valuable card, but I got this graded just because I like having graded Hall of Fame rookies in my hockey collection. And it doesn't matter to me if it's a 1960s Hall of Famer or a 1990s rookie, such as this one. I like having, that consistency of having those rookies all in PSA slabs. Lidstrom was definitely one of my favorite defensemen of all time. He oftentimes is lost in that conversation, or not lost, but I guess the casual hockey fan sometimes doesn't go a lot further than Bobby Orr at defense, just because it's not as exciting a position as the offensive positions like wing and center. But Lidstrom was one of the best. He won 4 cups with Detroit, and even more impressively, maybe, he was a 7-time Norris Trophy winner. Which is pretty insane if you just think about that for a second. He was the best defenseman in the league, recognized league-wide 7 times in his career. He also won a Conn Smythe playoff MVP, just like Brian Leetch, during one of those 4 cup runs. And perhaps most impressive was his leadership ability. He captained the Red Wings during the last few seasons of his career, and he played 20 seasons in the NHL, all for Detroit, and never missed the playoffs. So he helped Detroit make the playoffs for 20 straight years, which is just incredible. I don't know if we'll ever see a player even play for one franchise for 20 years again, much less, make the playoffs every single one of those years. So really happy to have that Lidstrom Young Guns in the graded hockey card collection. And just like the Leech, was under $25 to bring that one home in a PSA Fine 9. And then the third and final slab that I have for today, the one that I'm perhaps the most excited about out of this trio, is actually at the goalie position. So I've shown off in a recent episode a Patrick Waugh rookie card that was at one point owned by Patrick Waugh, which was pretty awesome. He is generally regarded as the greatest goalie of all time, or at least in the mix. The other name that I frequently hear in debates and that is right there atop that list with Patrick Waugh is this guy, Dominik Hasek. And this is his 1991 Upper Deck rookie card. This comes from the same set as the Nick Lidstrom, although Lidstrom I think was in the high series at number 587, and Hasek's rookie card was in the low series at number 335. But just a key rookie card, in my opinion, when you consider that by just about everybody's account, he is like a top 3 goalie of all time. And in many people's estimation, he is, as good or even better of a goalie than Patrick Waugh, who's the other guy who's, often in the mix. So I may have mispronounced his name. I hear it pronounced Hasek sometimes or Hasek other times. But he is undoubtedly one of the best ever to stand between the pipes at the NHL level. This guy he had a streak during an 8-season stretch. He won the Vezina Trophy as top goalie 6 times. And there are not many players in the history of the league who have a run like that at the goaltender position. That is like a Gretzky-like streak of domination at the goaltender spot. He won a league MVP in the late 90s, which is really tough for a goalie to do. And then even more impressive, he was a repeat league MVP the following season. So this guy won back-to-back MVP and Vezina trophies during those 2 years. Was undoubtedly the best goaltender on the planet, at least during that stretch of, the mid-90s through the early 2000s. And by the time he hung up the skates, he moved to Detroit later. A lot of his success in the 90s and his Vezinas came with the Sabres. When he migrated to Detroit and had a good team around him, ended up winning a couple of Stanley Cups to close out his career. So possibly the greatest goaltender of all time. Thanks to his rookie card coming in the junk wax era, you can pick it up, as I did here, in a PSA Fine 9. I paid $15 for that Dominik Hasek rookie card. So that is a wrap on my trio of sort of defensive NHL greats. Pair of D-men and a goalie right there. And that is a trio of players that I would have loved to have seen protecting my net during the, say, early or even throughout the 1990s. Really, really happy that I was able to bring these 3 rookie cards home. All cards that I've owned before and still own, in raw form. But for the price, being as cheap as it was, felt really cool to add these to the graded Hall of Fame rookie card collection. So that's a wrap for today. Thanks for sticking it out for about 9 minutes worth of hockey card talk. I hope at least one of these 3 cards was interesting to you, and I will certainly be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Until then, take care and enjoy the hobby.